Hello everybody, Dark Comitive here from Split Polygon and welcome to my Quick Bits. Today we're going to look at some rendering tips and how you can use a automatic depth of field control so you can have your object in focus at any distance of your camera automatically, so you don't have to set that up manually. So what I'm going to do is, remember this scene we did, this is from the modeling soccer ball tutorial from another quick bit. So if you want to know how to make this guy, go and check that one out. And I'm gonna go, and all I did in this scene is that was the setup for that one was in Redshift, and all I did is I replaced this with Arnold Skydome, and I applied the same HDRI, and I just swapped the shaders to be Arnold shaders instead of Redshift shaders. Alright, if I render it, it should look exactly like the one that I did on that tutorial. So, not Redshift, old habits die hard. Arnold render view. There we go. So, if I tumble around, it should look pretty much exactly the same. And I have a shadow catcher material, so it looks like this beach sitting on the ball is sitting on the beach. Alright. Now, if I want to do some depth of field effects on this and I want this whole thing to be blurred, what you usually do is you select your camera, you go scroll down to Arnold, and you turn on depth of field. And as soon as you do that, you have these attributes available to you. So focus distance is how far is the distance is the object from the camera you're rendering from. And the aperture size is pretty much going to be the blurriness effect. Alright, so if I increase this a little bit, you're going to see things start to blur. And then I can play around with the distance to kind of get the environment or the object in focus. You can enable distance from camera, and you can see this object is 11.454 centimeters away. So I can select that and I can say 11.454, and now it's exactly in focus. But the problem is, as soon as I move, this is broken. So now this is a different distance. So how can we automate this? Well, I'm glad you asked. We can go to create camera. Let's make a brand new camera, just so we don't do connections on our perspective. It's never a good idea. And I'm going to change the focal length to maybe 60. It's just a bit more pleasing focal length I found. So I need to go and create distance tool. So if I create measure tool, distance tool, I can just click once and click twice. So between these two locators, I get a value. So if I move one locator, this is constraint and this value changes. Now what I need to do is to constrain one locator to the camera and to take the other locator and put it wherever I want my connection, my focus to be. Alright, so I'm going to set that locator over there, just snapping it to random vertex on the model. And I'm going to select the locator, the other one, and then the camera. And I can go to rigging, constraint, point constraint, and I can disable maintain offset. I can click apply. Oh, my bad. So see, I reversed the selection. So you need to do it other way around. I always forget which is the first thing that you need to select when with constraints. Anyhow, so now this is constrained, which means that this thing will move together. That's great, but this distance is still not connected to the attribute of that camera. Now how can we connect it? Well, we need the scary connection editor for that, or we can do other stuff, but I find the connection editor is the fastest for me. And what we need is to show the shape nodes of the object. So go to display, enable shapes, and we need the distance dimension shape node, and we can go to window, general editor, connection editor. and it's going to open this scary window that everybody hates so much for some reason. Now we can grab this and we can say reload left, and that's going to load. I already had it selected, so now it's already loaded. And then if you select your camera, you can either select the camera and click the shape node here, or if you don't have that selected, if you select your camera, when you go and you enable your depth of field, you can click select here, and that's also going to go and select the shape node for you. As soon as you do that, you click reload right, and then you need to do is show hidden on both of these. Well, you don't have to do it on this side actually. And then I can choose the distance. I want to connect distance from the distance node to, where is Arnold? You have all the attributes of Arnold are listed in here. So you need to go and find what you're looking for. And what we're looking for is focus distance. So that will be a challenge to find in all of these attributes. So give me a second. So this is redshift, which means this is different tab. So we're switching down. And this is AI. These are all Arnold attributes. So we have the shutters, and let's go down. AI focus distance. Boom. As soon as you click that, now that is connected. Close that window. Now, if I move the camera, you can see this number here changes. Alright, so I'm going to go and look through selected, which is going to look through the selected camera. And if I move, it's very faint because I have a white object and the number is white. But you can see it's 7.9, now is 9.4, or you can just look at here. So now let's try to render something. So let's angle the camera. Let's open Arnold render view, and that's not going to open because I already have it here. I'm going to switch this to camera 1, and I'm going to render. Alright, so now I don't have my depth of field set up yet, so I'm going to select camera 1, and I'm going to say, well, I need aperture size, let's say 0.1, and let's say 5 blades, and you can see this is the bokeh effect that we're getting from the specular. So if I move this out of the way, you can also enable tumbling in this, but I prefer it in the viewport. So now it doesn't really matter how I move the camera, I will always have my object in focus. Alrighty, so that was the tutorial for today. I hope you find it useful, and if you do, please consider subscribing to my channel because a lot more of this is coming in the future. All right, thank you guys. See you in the next one.